You're watching NFL Daily. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, ready to answer all y'all's questions. If you want your questions featured on our show, you got to use hashtag NFL, or you can go ahead and super chat. The first one coming up here is from Gary Patterson. Could the Seahawks cut L.J. Collier? Could they cut him? Sure. Would I be surprised? Yes, it's definitely been a wasted draft pick, though. I'm not 100% surprised if you follow our NFL draft coverage. I know Tom was not excited about this pick whatsoever, but I'd probably say there's a less than 15% chance that he ends up getting cut. Let's go to Dorito Man 000. Let me know what the best type of Doritos are. I was always a Cool Ranch fan when I was a kid. The Packers is the best destination for OBJ, right or no? Maybe from like an overall like honest fit situation and fitting with the team, yeah, Devontae Adams, OBJ would be there. The other issue is this. I just don't see the Green Bay Packers being in the waiver wire situation to do it or having the money to be able to go out and do it. So we'll ultimately see what happens, but I don't think OBJ ends up landing with the Green Bay Packers if he's released. Let's go to you. No. Saints, what about Phillip Rivers? So Phillip Rivers retired. I think, honestly, the biggest thing that's going to be holding back Rivers is his 9 kids. When in terms of the Saints, I mean, they have Trevor Siemian, you have Taysom Hill, who's banged up, you have Ian Book, who's banged up. You could potentially going out and getting Rivers, but if you were going to go out and get a retired quarterback, wouldn't you just go get Drew Brees before you got Rivers? That seems to make the most sense to me, but hey, call me crazy. What up, Mark? Hey, Mitchell, hope you're well. Whether Fitzgerald's career is over or not, is he a future Hall of Famer? Absolutely. Larry Fitzgerald is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I don't even think it's close. He's top 5 in overall receiving yards, I believe. He's been one of the better receivers. Now, sure, longevity has definitely helped him out, and I think Larry Fitzgerald fits in the category of like where Frank Gore's at. Were they a top 10 talent at any point? Probably not, but because of their longevity has led them to these just amazing career numbers, that alone makes them Hall of Famers. So yes, Fitz is going to end up making it in. Now here's a question for y'all. Which team will finish as the number 1 seed in the AFC? And I want to bring this up because I was kind of poking a little bit of fun at Tom last week. I was like, man, the Bengals, they're the number 1 seed right now in the AFC. And then they lost 34-31 to the Jets. So before you get your votes in, and you can continue to get them in, here's why the AFC is interesting. The Tennessee Titans are at 6-2, but they're not going to have Derrick Henry. The Raiders, they're at number 2, but wait, they're not going to have Henry Ruggs. The Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals, they've been kind of battling it out back and forth. The Bills are sitting there at 5-2. The Steelers, the Chargers, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the nod to Buffalo because I think that division is pretty pathetic if we're being 100% honest, and they have Josh Allen, they have a hell of a team. I'm going to go ahead and say it's the Buffalo Bills, but come on, get your votes in. Which team will finish as the number 1 seed in the AFC? And remember, this video is being recorded on Wednesday, so with the teams that we just showed, the Jets and the Colts, after the Thursday night game, it's going to change, but they're not going to be in the playoff picture anyway. Let's go to Mark. What up, Mark? What's your cat's name? Should the Chiefs try to get OBJ? Should they try? Why not? What else do you really have to lose? But again, they don't really have the money to be able to do so. We were talking about this the other day, though, in the studio. I don't really understand why Kansas City went out and they got Josh Gordon if they didn't plan on using him, because obviously if you go out and sign Gordon, it brings in a lot of extra baggage as well. I can't really figure out why they're not using him more, and with the way that the offense is played, well, what the hell do you have to lose? Let's go to Ollie Tanks. Grade the move of the Titans signing D'onta Foreman to the practice squad. Thanks, love the show. I mean, anytime you sign a running back to the practice squad, it's more of a whoop-de-frickin-do. When Foreman was first coming out of Texas, I was a little bit excited about him, and then he reminded me of a less athletic version of Eddie Lacy, and then when Eddie got turned into feast mode and not beast mode, it definitely got a little bit slower. It's just a little bit of a depth move. I'm going to give it a C grade. It's an average move, so nothing to write home about. Adrian Peterson, that's the interesting pickup there. Now, if anybody wants to bet on any NFL games this entire week, please go ahead and do so with our sportsbook partner, BetUS, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily, that gets you 125% deposit bonus. Not only are you going to get the best deal on the internet, we're also going to hook you up with a free jersey. Yeah, now I got your attention, right? So if you want the details on how to get a free jersey, all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/bet, use promo code NFL Daily, sign up and deposit at least $100. You're still going to get $125 for free. Put down like a $5 bet on, I don't know, your favorite team this week, and then send the screenshot and your account number to jersey@chatsports.com. That's the email, and then we're going to hook you up with the jersey. Now, this deal has nothing to do with BetUS, so don't email them. If you get started with them, we want to go ahead and reward you with a free jersey of your choice. Now, we have hundreds of them in stock. We have hundreds of them that you guys can pick from, but if we don't have the exact one you want, like if you're like, I want a Dak Prescott purple and gold jersey from the 1970s. Guess what? We don't have that one. I'm just going to tell you all that right now. We have certain jerseys. Give us a player name. We'll be able to work it all out for you. Remember, email us jersey@chatsports.com for the details. But not only are you going to get, free money to bet with, and I don't know about you, even if I got like $5 on a game, dude, I am absolutely glued to that screen. It makes it a lot more fun. We like to bet around here as well. Email us jersey@chatsports.com after you get started with BetUS. Let's go to Zachary Lynn Borgen. As a Packers fan, Rodgers should be in trouble, and so should the Packers. Also, so glad they didn't trade Love yesterday. I never anticipated them to trade Jordan Love, though there's a part of me that would have loved to see Blake Bortles trot out there for the Green Bay Packers up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Anytime you trade up in the draft, where they go, number 26 overall, to get Love, I mean, they had to be at least a little bit of confident in him. But I'm with you. Rodgers should be penalized, and the Green Bay Packers should be penalized. And I also think it's very sad how selfish Aaron Rodgers has been, and it almost makes me at this point, I don't really want to even root for him anymore, but when you look at what his girlfriend's doing, she eats clay, she doesn't brush her teeth, that's just an absolute nightmare. Let's go to Dale Webb Jr. Since the Raiders released Nathan Peterman, do they sign Cam Newton? Well, the Raiders just re-signed Nathan Peterman to the practice squad about probably an hour before I went live here on NFL Daily. No, they're not going to go out and bring in Cam Newton. They like Peterman as that scout type of quarterback that knows the system, that can help train these other receivers. And the Raiders also went ahead and they brought in Marcel Aitman, and then they released Dan Skipper. That's a hell of a name. And they did sign Markel Lee to the active roster. So are you an NFL fan? If you're like, yeah, that's me, then subscribe to get daily videos. I don't care if you watch the video when you're walking to work. If you're sitting at whatever your job is and maybe you're like, oh man, I got to stay up to date, we got you covered. I won't tell your boss. Honestly, and I won't judge you, I watch a lot of my videos when I'm sitting down, dropping a number 2. It's the most perfect time to do it. Nobody's ever going to bother you. So subscribe, turn on those notifications, because I don't want you to be shit out of luck in case you miss some NFL news. Let's go to Johnny. What up, Mr. Lopez? Will the Raiders head coach job be the most sought out next year? Also, was it smart to pull an NFL team in Vegas? I've heard a lot of people like, oh, it was dumb to put an NFL team in Vegas with young millionaires and, all their situations are going to be put in Vegas. If you have millions of dollars and you're in a major city, there's going to be temptations everywhere that you go. I live in Dallas, Texas. There's temptations everywhere. You just hope that people can make the right decisions. Do I think that the Raiders should put more of a emphasis on players like now with the whole Henry Ruggs situation? I'm not going to lie. If I was the Raiders, I would make it mandatory that you Uber or that you Lyft to certain destinations after certain times of the night. Like, just so this situation never happens again. And then in terms of the head coaching job, when I first found out, obviously Gruden was released, I made a John Gruden replacements video. If Rich Bisaccia can take the Raiders to the playoffs still, and they win a playoff game, if the Raiders players want Bisaccia back, I'm going to say it's his job to lose, because to deal with what the Raiders have gone through this season, and if you can still prevail through all of that and still make the playoffs, win potentially the AFC West, dude, give the job to Bisaccia. I think he would totally earn it at that point. Let's go to I'm the Man. Sorry, Mitch. I'm the humble. Much love. What does it say about Broncos quarterback coach when Simeon and Keenum look better after their time in Denver? Do they necessarily look better after their time in Denver? I think Case Keenum looks the exact same, and I think Trevor Siemian looks the exact same. The biggest issue was Denver tried to put too much on those guys' plate, where they try to get Case Keenum be the quarterback that he was in Houston, or they try to make Trevor Siemian more than just a game manager. Both those quarterbacks are game managers that need more talent around them. Trevor Siemian, hate to break it to you, Saints have a lot more talent around them. The Browns have a lot more talent around them than Denver. That's why they look a little bit better right now. Let's go to sit in my face. Should the Vikings sign Olivier Vernon to try to replace Danielle Hunter? So Danielle Hunter, unfortunately for him, he's out for the year. You're not going to be able to replace Danielle Hunter. I really think when he's fully healthy, he's one of the best defensive ends in all of football. I'd probably put him in my top 15. Olivier Vernon, the biggest issue with him is he healthy? I believe he tore his Achilles last year, and when you have a player who's around 30 years old, above 30, coming off a serious injury, and a big value name like him, NFL teams know that he's probably not 100% healthy. I don't know if it's going to be Olivier Vernon, but there's really not too many edge rushers out there that you're going to, again, be able to replace Danielle Hunter with. Now, I asked you earlier in this video, who's the top team or who's going to be the top team in the AFC at the end of the year? What about the NFC? Because coming into the year, I was like, oh, the AFC is clearly the better conference. I don't know if I can say that anymore because you got the Green Bay Packers, Arizona Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then the Rams. Those 5 teams right there are, I believe, were our top 5 teams in our NFL power rankings this past week, and it's kind of a difficult decision. Is Green Bay going to be able to beat the Chiefs this week? I don't know. Tom Brady, I have a lot of confidence in him. I didn't think there was any chance in hell the Cowboys were going to beat the Vikings, and they ended up doing it with Cooper Rush. The Cardinals look fantastic. I think the Rams were my number 1 team in my power rankings, and they're the 5th seed right now in the wild card. So please, go down in the comments. Let me know who is going to finish as the number 1 seed in the NFC. I actually think this would be a pretty cool video that we should do here at Chat Sports. Let's go to Robert. What up, Bruce? Chat Sports, give Jeremy a race. I would love to go ahead and try to race Jeremy, but I just don't think he's going to be able to win it. I know what you mean, Robert, but since you put race, if you want us to film Jeremy running, I think we can do that. Let's go to Jillian Callahan. What up, Jillian? I think the only reason why Jeremy put that up there is because he actually thought it said raise, and sorry, homie. Which wide receiver should the Raiders pick up? If I had to pick any receiver that they should go out and get, it's John Brown. You sign him in the offseason. And the reason why Brown was asked to be released earlier the year before the season started was because of how confident the Raiders were in Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, and Hunter Renfrow, and all those 3 players, they were playing very well this season. Well, now you don't have Ruggs. If you want somebody who at least kind of knows the system, that has some speed still left in the tank, John Brown would be the top receiver that I think the Raiders should go out and get, unless Jackson clears waivers, and if OBJ is released, then it's a totally different discussion. Let's go to Joe Caterly. 49ers are my favorite team. Sorry to hear that. They should go after Cam Newton and cut Sudfeld. You know, I don't really think they need to go out and get Cam Newton because if you want to talk about drama, you got already Jimmy Garoppolo drama, Trey Lance, who you drafted number 3 overall, and you want to also throw in Cam Newton into that discussion? Why not also go out and get Colin Kaepernick and just make the 49ers the most interesting team out there? I don't really have a lot of confidence in Sudfeld. Never really liked him when he first came out of Iowa either, but I'm going to say no to Cam Newton with the 49ers. You have other issues on that team on the offensive side of the football, on the defensive side of the football that I would address before quarterback. Let's go to Tom Downey's real account. Most snake-bitten franchise. I mean, this year I'd probably have to say the Raiders, between John Gruden, between what just happened with Henry Ruggs, between all the stuff that goes on, I think, with NFL hating the Raiders. I think that's definitely up there. The Browns have been very unlucky of recent years. Probably even say the Chargers as well. I mean, they've been a pretty unlucky franchise when it comes to injuries. The 49ers have been super snake-bit with injuries as well. But, okay, I think Jeremy just made this one on the fly. What's the most snake-bitten franchise? So basically, the most unlucky franchise. Because if we're talking about the most snake-bitten franchise, I guess it would technically be the Arizona Diamondbacks. But let me know down in the comments the most snake-bitten franchise in the NFL or the most unlucky one. Let's go to Steven. Do the Titans take a gamble on getting Deshaun Jackson, or if the Browns release him, Odell Beckham Jr.? Do they take a chance? Potentially. But here's the other issue with Tennessee, right? Tennessee doesn't really have the money to be able to do it. You also have Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and then you throw another player into the mix. I think it makes it a little bit of an interesting situation. So I'm going to say no. I don't think Tennessee is going to be one of the teams that come out with either of those 2 players. Now, if I missed your question, you can always go ahead, hit me up on Instagram, at MitchellRenz365. I will warn you, because I do a lot of the Raiders shows here, my DMs are an absolute shit show right now. It's going to take me a little bit to get through them, but I will get through them. I go through my DMs every single morning. I probably answer 50 to 100 questions every single morning before I go to the gym, and I'll do the exact same with y'all. So go ahead, hit me up on IG, at MitchellRenz365.